Take a slow breath with me, just for a moment. Let the world soften. Let your shoulders drop. If your chest feels heavy right now, that feeling is real. And if a certain name quietly passed through your thoughts, that isn't random. Someone who once walked away is thinking about you tonight. Not lightly, not out of habit, but because regret has finally grown louder than pride. Some connections don't truly end. They go quiet, and silence has a way of circling back. Sometimes as a phone call. What they're about to say won't just surprise you. It will change how you see the past and yourself. Stay with me. Tonight feels different, doesn't it? There's a weight in the air, the kind that appears just before something shifts. You tell yourself it's just another night, but your heart doesn't believe it, because somewhere, someone who once left you is restless right now. They've been silent for a long time. They went far. They left you alone with unanswered questions, and now, after all this time, they want to call, not to casually check in, not to say hello, but to finally speak the words they were too afraid to say back then. And once you hear them, nothing about the past will feel the same again. Part 1. The night they can no longer ignore you. They didn't notice it at first, but tonight, something feels off. They tried to distract themselves, scrolling, talking, staying busy. None of it worked, because when the noise finally faded, you returned to their mind, not as a memory, but as a feeling. They're sitting there right now, phone in hand, staring at the screen longer than they should. Your name is still saved. Your number still there, untouched, but never erased. You were the one they thought they could walk away from, the one they assumed would always be there if they ever needed you again. So they left without explaining, without closure, without realizing what silence would cost. And you carried that silence alone. You questioned yourself, replayed conversations, wondered what you did wrong, even when you hadn't done anything at all. But tonight, regret outweighs their pride. Tonight, the distance they created finally feels real. They're standing at a crossroads now. Press call, or live with this ache forever. If they reach out tonight, it's because the truth inside them can't stay quiet anymore. Part 2. The words they've been holding inside for so long. If they call, speaking won't come easily. Their voice may hesitate, not because they're unsure what to say, but because they know exactly what they should have said long ago. They've been carrying these words for months, maybe years. Words swallowed every time they thought, it's too late. Words buried. When pride felt safer than honesty, they want to tell you they were wrong. Wrong for leaving without explanation. Wrong for choosing distance over communication. Wrong for believing silence would somehow be understood. Only now do they see the truth. You didn't need space. You needed reassurance. They've replayed moments with you in their mind. Your patience. The way you listened. How calm you stayed, even when you were hurting. They see it clearly now. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking for effort. And the hardest part for them, realizing you gave what they didn't know how to return. If they call, expect pauses, expect imperfect sentences, expect emotions they never allowed themselves to feel before. Because this isn't a casual call. It's a confession. And the question keeping them awake tonight is simple. Will you still recognize them, now that they finally see you? Part 3. When the call finally comes, if you're still here, understand this. Not everyone is meant to hear this message. When the phone rings, time shifts. Your heart knows before your mind does. There's a quiet second where everything you buried begins to rise. You see the name, the one you taught yourself not to expect. Anymore, your hand hesitates, not because you don't want to answer, but because answering means reopening something. You barely learned to survive without you answer. For a moment, neither of you speaks. You hear their breathing. They hear yours. In that silence, everything unsaid suddenly exists. Their voice sounds different now, softer, careful. They say your name slowly, like it carries weight. They admit it. They ran when things became real. They didn't know how to stay, and then they notice something that shakes them. You're calm. You're not begging, not explaining, not asking to be chosen. You've grown. They hear it in your stillness, in the way you don't rush to fill the silence. And suddenly they understand. This call isn't about getting you back. It's about facing the version of you they never deserved back then. Part 4. What they realized too late. When the call ends, the quiet feels different. They sit there, replaying your voice, not your words. You're calm. They expected pain, questions, that you'd still be waiting where they left you. But you weren't. You felt the pain. You cried privately. You questioned your worth. And then, you healed. They realized something painful and beautiful. At the same time, you became stronger without them. That version of you on the phone, that's someone who learned to stand alone. Someone who doesn't chase what doesn't choose them. And now they see the cost of leaving. Not just losing you, but losing the chance to grow with you. You didn't change because you stopped loving. You changed because you learned to love yourself. Some lessons arrive late and stay forever. Part 5. What the call changes for good. The call didn't change you. It changed them. While they held onto pride, you learned to let go. While they delayed courage, you learned clarity. The call wasn't meant to reunite you. It was meant to free you. You realize now, you were never too much. Your love was real. Their silence was fear, not your failure. You no longer need them to choose you. You already chose yourself. If they grow, you'll see it. If they don't, you won't beg or explain again. Because love should never feel like waiting in the dark. The call didn't reopen your wounds. It closed them. If this story feels familiar, breathe gently. You're not weak for feeling deeply. You're human. Some people return to apologize. Some return to remind us how far we've grown. And some return too late, not to hurt us, but to release us. If someone from your past crossed your mind, that's okay. You're allowed to remember, without returning, to feel without reopening doors. Before you go, write this below. I choose peace over confusion. You didn't lose them. You found your